How was
It was good. We got a lot done. They're in good shape, which obviously allows you to do more. Greater capacity to work. So it was a good start. Clearly, a lot of guys did a lot of work over the summer, and a lot of the freshmen, studied. So it was good to see them out there as well, because it shows that they're prepared and want an opportunity to play.
Do you expect any additions today, or can that process resume tomorrow?
Yeah, again, I'm not gonna. Tim, as soon as we hear something, as soon as we get something locked in, we'll release it. Other than that, I just don't want to speculate. I just want you guys to know there are a number that are coming. But I just don't want you guys can speculate. I'm not gonna get into it until it's finalized. I don't want to do that. I don't want to compromise the process or the trust with the administration and the proper channels.
As far as like handling the personnel part of it and finding guys to add late, how important is that, and to kind of find those guys and what can
Well, it's been an ongoing process, and obviously anybody that can help the organization will be embraced by the team. The team knows guys are coming. Obviously, you guys see some guys hanging around here that have to get processed. They're allowed to watch. They're allowed to do work out on their own. They're just not allowed to participate with the team until they're cleared. So I just can't get into all that until they're cleared.
I mean, these freshmen coming in, they're maybe not be forced into the action as quickly as some of these guys in the past few years. How much of a luxury is that for these guys?
Michael, I think the difference is that they're going to have to impose their game on somebody to get in there, and clearly just in one day, there was a couple guys that are starting to say, okay, I'm not ready to jump. We haven't put any pads on yet, but there's some guys that really came out and competed and prepared and knew their stuff, so it was good to see.
Who were they?
Like I said, I'm not ready to jump yet. We haven't put any pads on.
Now, how close is the battle at middle linebacker?
At where?
At middle linebacker with Raphael.
Well, I just think, again, at linebacker, it's not necessarily just the two inside linebackers. It's, what's the best combination of all the linebackers. So everybody's in play. It's not just Kirby and Jimmy inside. It's, Denzel inside, or Fig inside, or Grace inside, or whatever the case may be, Kelvin Kane. There's a million different combinations that you can have there. We're just trying to find the best three to start, and then we'll go to who are the best 5 or 6, and then we'll go from there.
Because you might switch up defenses, does that give guys an opportunity to maybe focus on a role in a particular package or whatnot?
Yeah, we've always been package oriented, right? You know what I mean? So I think you're right, and that helps. That helps the morale on defense, and it also underscores the fact that we want to play a lot of guys. I think we wanted to play a lot of guys, and hopefully this is the year that we can play a great number of guys.
Coach, how do your quarterback after season 1?
How do they look?
Yeah.
Well, again, I think Ryan and Gray are clearly competing. For that next spot, and then everybody else is trying to compete to get into that second or third rotation. So if I had to rank them right now, it's just as they are in the depth. It's Steven and then Ryan. But we'll see how the competition goes.
What have you seen from Preston Dewey?
Preston Dewey is not with us right now in camp. He will be here at some point, but he's not here in camp. So right now it's Greg Crow and Kevin Olsen competing for time.
Can you tell us why he's not here?
Again, that's a personal matter. I'm not going to get into that.
You talk about the cornerback position now, and he's doing well, or even going into the season. What are the expectations for you?
Well, I expect there to be a lot of competition. Clearly, yesterday there was. Tracy, Howard, Antonio, Gunner. I thought Nate Dort did a good job yesterday. He came back stronger and bigger. Larry Hope, Artie Burns, Corn Elder did a nice job there. So yesterday, he looks like he's going to be able to make that transition to corner. Elder, so Ray. So there's a lot of competition there, and we'll see how it plays out. Again, I'm just tempered in my thoughts after one helmet practice.
How was Chantrell physically after day 1 of practice?
He's good. He had a little foot discomfort, so I'm anxious to see where he's at here when he comes out. But he's ready to go. He's in great shape, and he's doing well. So, but he turned his ankle or his foot or something. So we'll see what. I don't think it's anything significant, but he'll be all right.
On Chantrell, is there a possibility he could be playing on the left side? I mean, a lot of people project him at the next level there. Do you see that as an opportunity? I mean, can he play both sides? Or?
Well, again, I think to be that player at the next level, you have to be, a dominant player, and you have to be a consistent player because you're protecting the money man, and we don't protect him there yet. But are we seeing a guy that can ultimately end up being that? We're seeing, like I said, we're seeing seeds of that right now, and hopefully he'll continue to just stay focused and have a great camp. But again, I don't know who's projecting him at the next level. If he was that right now, he'd be over there for us right now.
What does Malcolm Bunch do for you at guard?
Malcolm's versatile. He can play guard or tackle. He seems to be very excited about playing guard. Malcolm's one of our fastest O-linemen, even though he's 329. He can move and pull, and clearly he gives us size and strength inside, but the ability to get to the perimeter, which is great.
Rashawn Jenkins, what type of improvements have you seen since the
just I think more confidence, in communicating. That's such a difficult position with all the checks and the way you have to conduct and operate back there. So I just think we're seeing more confidence out of him there, and hopefully he'll continue to be vocal and make good decisions, utilize his hand signals, and really run the defense. That's what a great safety does. Don't defend the deep ball, tackle well in the alley, and run your defense, and hopefully he'll do that.
Last question.
I was wondering if I could ask you something for Adam Beasley for the special second call sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was
What you
going
want
to
to
ask
do? You want to do it privately?
Yeah, just for a second.
You guys good?
Yeah.
From off-season to first day of camp, where do you think the offense is grown?
Communication, consistency with regards to the base stuff. You've seen these guys take this off season and work hard, and you see it. You see it by the way they talk to each other and the way they communicate and the way they. Sometimes it's just a stare between two guys, and they execute on that. So I guess it's cohesiveness.
Your thoughts on Stephen Morris and his progress?
He's doing a great job. He's got to continue to work and get better, but he's doing a great job so far. Day one. So he's had a good summer.
Will Kevin also be in the conversation for number 2, or
we're working him into it. We're not allowed to work with him in the off season. So when he comes in here, yesterday was his first day. So.
what were your preliminary thoughts on him, just watching him yesterday?
Very talented, very smart kid. He understands the position. His dad's a football coach, and the kid, he's grooving really well, and I've been excited.
And Ryan's a little ahead right now for number 2, is that right?
Well, they're all battling, but Ryan's had some experience, so that's helped out.
Coach, maybe the adjustment period, do you almost feel like it's over? Do you feel like you're fully integrated here? Do you feel like kids know enough about you, know enough about them?
Yep.
Simple enough.
Yeah, you answered it.
What about the running back spot? I mean, you got obviously Duke, but number 2 you got Gus Edwards.
That's what we're looking at right now. That's what we're trying to find out. Is who's going to step up there. Dallas contributes a lot when he gets in there because he's able to do so much. And then, yesterday was Gus's first day. He's a big, good-looking kid who now has to learn our system. So, but it's going to be some good competition. You also have Mo Hagens in the backfield, and you have Danny Dillard and guys like that are battling for it.
And where does Clements sort of fit in? Is it hard to tell right now?
Eduardo Clements, yeah. No. He's versatile. He gives you the stuff that Dallas gives you as well, because he's so smart and he understands football, and he's a good athlete, and he's a good guy that instinctively it takes over. When he's on the field, and he knows what the other side's doing on defense. He's so bright. So he adds another degree of just a guy that you could do multiple things with.
You've been around high-profile kids a long time, and Stevens obviously can get a lot of attention. Quarterbacks always do. Senior quarterbacks always do.
Right.
What is it that you learned about his makeup that makes him equipped to handle all that and really not be affected too much by what people say.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. You know, there's two types of pressures you feel. Those two types of pressures in the world. Those you feel, and those you apply. You know what I mean? And I think he's naturally not a guy who's really feeling it. He's applying it by what he does. You know, to the defense, or you know, to the receivers when he's working with them, and even overall, even in school, when he's doing great in school. So, you know, sometimes you see these guys, and somewhere in their life, something just, you know, whether it's school or relationships or ball itself, you know, drops a little bit because of the pressure they're feeling. But I haven't seen that.
How tough is it to be his backup?
How tough is it to be his backup? Actually, it's great to be his backup, because not only are you learning in meetings, but you're on the field and you're watching him and you're learning from him. So it's really an advantage, especially for me as a coach, because there's a lot of times where I just in a meeting I say, well, why don't you explain to everybody what just happened here? You know, and for some reason when players talk, other players listen. You know what I mean? So it's really good.
With Ryan Williams specifically, it has to be a little frustrating to have that guy in front of you.
No, I think there's a mutual respect. So I don't think there's a frustration. You know, I think when you see a guy who's really talented and they can do certain things that he can do, I think Ryan appreciates that. And which is great for, which I love about Ryan, is he's finding out ways how he can do things that are better than others, you know, and his game's made up a little bit different than Steven's. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Well, what can he do better than others?
Huh?
Well, like what?
Well, he's pretty sharp. You know, he can really get into the audibles and checks very fast. Steven can as well, but he's very headsy with that. And that's part of his game.
The receiver core, I mean, now that you know it's August now and you've seen them, what they've done in the off season, what kind of weapons do you think you have now at wide receiver?
Yeah, you got guys that are threats in the perimeter, you know, so I'm excited about it, you know. These guys got to, you know, I always talk about the summer training, right? You have a great summer training. What that does, it just builds up for your season. You know what I mean? But now's the next step. Now all the one-on-ones, you know, you're throwing an offensive line in there, and you're throwing that ball may come out a little earlier when you are covered and you have to make a play. And that's where the next step has to happen. But as far as speed, you know, agility, burst, they have it. Now we have to gel. You know, and truly, you know, take the playmaker title. I'm gonna make a play.
As a coach, you feel like you have all the tools you could possibly need?
You know, yes. You know, I think we have to be healthy, you know, and not lose some of those tools. But you know, these guys have the makeup to be pretty good.
Kind of along those lines, when you can throw
makeup, they still got to develop into it.
Along those lines, when you guys can throw it, when you can run it, when you can catch it, what's an offensive coordinator worried about?
The counter punch, right? You know, what are they gonna do to take it away? You know, in this game, you're gonna play good teams, and when other good teams have a good defensive line where they're like, well, you can run it, but we can stop the run, or they got great secondary players that they can say, better run it because you're not going to throw it. You know, that's what you're worried about. How do we do what we do in winning those areas?
You have such a deep receiver core, but how tempting is it going to be to get Stacey Coley on the field as a true freshman, given the kid's ability?
Yeah, tempting. Very, very. You know, we really enjoyed watching him yesterday. You know, he's learning. He's got a ways to go. But as far as talent, it's there. You know, so I bet you know, that's our job. Get them ready.
How about the tight ends? Just what dynamic can they bring? You know,
big, strong guys, physical, that they can be either run blockers or seam players. So they bring a big they give us the flexibility to spread out or get big. So that's very rare.
Your past few years, the quarterbacks have been quite involved in the running game. Do you envision that for Morris this season?
You're asking me scheme.
Oh,
Good Lord. I think they always have to be a threat. I think they always have to be a threat.
How much of your offense is in now in terms of what the kids actually understand and you'd feel comfortable using if there was a game tomorrow, Any of it? I mean,
some people may look at it and say, hey, that's our whole entire offense, what we put in the last 2 days.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. We try to do it. We try to, load them up and see what they can retain. And then, if something doesn't stick, then we go back and install it again until they get it. But these guys are a smart bunch.
How often do you give the QBs tests in the meeting rooms?
We test all the time. There's a clip on the screen, and immediately, hey guys, all right, Steven, what's your mic point here? All right, what are you thinking right now? We go through the whole adjustment, but usually before the first scrimmage.
Any more questions? Awesome. Practice.
Yeah, actually, you can start to tell a lot. I think the biggest thing is we're a little more confident and strong. I see a bigger group that is a little more confident as far as the technique, utilizing the strength gains that they've accumulated since, not just since spring ball, but really since January. So that's the part I think that shows up. I think we got better competition, at a lot of positions. So those are the two things that stand out. I think the guys are having fun. Kind of a luxury is in this day and age that we can enter year 3 with probably about half the guys. It seems like.
You're saying as far as on the defense?
Yeah. We've got quite a few guys that played, and that was part of the deal. I mean, we obviously made a commitment to play a lot of guys last year, play a lot of young guys that in hopes that you would be, continue to grow and be more experienced. That you didn't sit there and say, okay, well, we're not going to play these guys, and then all of a sudden we're going to look up next year and we're not going to gain anything from it. They're going to be inexperienced next year. So, I like the fact that we got guys out here that we train and that understand what we want to get done and taking leadership roles, and that's what happens over time. So, I like our core group of guys that have been here with us for a few years that really have bought in and doing everything we ask and being partners with the staff. And it's been good.
The middle linebacker is huge, obviously. What are the differences between Jimmy and Raphael, you think?
Jimmy's played a lot of snaps. That's to be quite honest with you. Raphael's first game last year was against Notre Dame, which that was his first college football game out there. Jimmy's played for us, for 2 years. He's played a lot of snaps. Unfortunately, Jimmy, the first half of last year was really banged up and was limited. I think Jimmy makes us different when he's in there because he really is a coach on the field. He's really bright and understands it. And Curb's continuing to get better, and they work together. Jimmy works with him constantly, and mentors him even though it's competition. So that's when you have a good team, good teammates and good leadership like that. That's when everybody gets better.
You guys are ranked over 100 total defense last year. Can you make a marked difference between, in an off season to move up in the rankings? Is that possible?
I mean, again, there are a lot of different scoreboards that you can look at, and we look at them all. We don't ignore them. That's a place that we want to improve. But the way college football is today, I don't know if that's the number one stat. We want to give up less points. It's about points. I want to move up. I want to give up less points. The less points you give up, the better off you're going to win. As far as we want to give up less yards, obviously, we expect.
Well, let's talk about it. Out of numbers, can you be exponentially better on defense in the course of an off season?
Okay. That's the expectation. We all expect to. If every individual gets better, every coach coaches better, then that's how you get better. You get better when individuals make a commitment to get better, which they're doing. The staff makes a commitment to get better, which they're doing.
I know you probably already addressed this, but is half the battle just size, strength, and experience?
Those are key factors. There's no doubt. I think again, the bottom line is play great defense, you want to play with confidence. And confidence comes from demonstrated performance. And, the way you do that, the way you demonstrate performance is, you get stronger and you go against some of the guys that we're going against here on a daily basis, and you have success in practice, and that's where that comes from. So it's all about gaining confidence and gaining confidence as individuals and then as a group.
There's always growing pains when freshmen get on campus, but the guys that came in last year, do you find that they've bought in? They're more acclimated. They feel more comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. College football's hard. And it's demanding. Defensively, you're playing a different type of offense every week. It's different than high school. It's different than the program. It's kind of unique. You get things that run triple option. You get things that are post out. You get things that run spread. And you only have a certain amount of hours to do it each week. You don't have them the whole day. So it's demanding. They're going to school. They're in study hall. And they're coming over here and they're getting ready to play somebody. So it is demanding when the freshman comes in. And I think it's only natural for them to get more comfortable as time goes on. And I think they're all doing that. So.
I don't know if you've been asked about Curtis yet, but what does he do for you if he's healthy and with his other side?
I think everybody that is close to the program that's watched, I think you can look back and look at the games that he's played for us over the last couple of years, and he's made an impact in those games. And I think he's had he had a good spring. I think he's had even a better summer. He's in really best shape of his career. He's as strong as he's been. I think he's really focused on having a great year for himself and for our team. So I'm excited. We keep our fingers crossed, and he's going to be healthy here all season, and I think they'll have a heck of a good.
On those lines, just having consistent play at the tackle spot, how much does that help the entire defense?
No, there's no doubt. It's going to help you. And you got to be strong up the middle, and you got to be stout. And, so that's where it starts. And I think we're working towards there. Obviously, we got Jimmy playing middle linebacker, and we got Curtis and Luther and Olsen. You start to talk about some guys with experience, as a start. And obviously, we've got to develop more guys, and there's got to be more guys that be able to help us. But as a start, those guys are guys that they've now been in the program. They've been in the program with us, and they're maturing, and they're stronger, and they're bigger.
Coach Golden was just saying, linebacker, it's not just a battle and Mike between Raphael Kirby and Jimmy Gaines, but it's more just because they're so versatile. Putting the best three out there, how versatile are they?
Yeah, Jimmy could line up at any of the three spots, and he's done that for us over the course of the last 2 years due to injury and whatnot. He's had to do all that, so he's probably the most versatile. Denzel's played the Mike linebacker, the middle linebacker. We started at both. Experience. Thurston Armbrister has played both the Sam and the Will for us. He was out in the spring. But, he started 3 games for us. Played 300 plus snaps last year. He looked good yesterday. So what happens is, I guess, when you can use your older guys to get the versatility. You'd rather have a young guy who's coming in and play once. Figueroa's coming in here as a freshman. He's playing the Sam linebacker. We're going to try to put more on his plate, but. Tyrone Cornelius can play multiple spots. Kelvin King can play multiple spots. So we have some guys again. As the longer they're around, gives you that flexibility, and that ultimately creates the competition for coaches.
Are there expectations that Shayon will add some more pass rushing to his game?
I think so. Yeah, I think that again, he's a guy that's really he's not only getting better, he's not only getting stronger, but he's getting healthier as he gets away from. The stuff that he's had in the past. People forget that he's a guy who's had some severe injuries. You know what I mean? That's had to go. We all love him so much, and he's we feel so strongly about it because he was a guy who at one point you weren't sure what was going to happen with him. And, here he is playing all 12 games last year, leading our team in tackles. He's the captain. So I think as each year goes on, he gets away from those health concerns. Certainly his skills, his game, his statistics, his pass rush, and all those things.
It seems like a number of the defensive players have been saying that the defensive scheme isn't going to change. It's more the execution. What would you say to that?
Yeah, it's all about execution. You're always going to go back and look and say, okay, well, I don't like the way we did this. We're going to do this wasn't good for us, or maybe we should do a little bit of this. And that's whether you have a great season or whether you have a disappointing. It's all the same. So there will be some things that will that will change. But really, regardless of what that is, it is. I'm glad they're talking in that language because it really is about the execution. It's about each individual doing their job, being in the gap they're supposed to be in, and at the end of the day, really playing hard. And I've been talking about that since we've been here. Really, playing really hard. Let's turn on the tape and let's try to play harder than anything. It doesn't take talent to win that category. It doesn't take experience to win that category. Let's really play hard. Let's run the ball like crazy. Let's try to create turnovers and go from there. Let's do that.
At the same time, it seems like some of the players have set somewhat lofty expectations. Do you embrace that? Do you say, hang on, let's kind of take baby steps first, or how do you deal with it?
We deal with it as we should. Guys who've been around it and been doing it a long time, we deal with it talking in terms of the process, right? It's every day right now. We got one task to knock out right now, and it's practice, and within that practice is every drill. Don't look ahead, don't look back. Every drill, every task that we put in front of them, we want to go ahead and try to knock out. And when we get done with practice, we have conditioning, we're going to condition, and they got to hydrate, and they got to eat, keep their weight up, and it's really just a matter of keeping them focused on the task at hand. And tonight we got to have a great meeting. Everybody in the country is going to have a meeting tonight. And we got to try to have a better. That's really how you try to just keep them on task and keep them going.
So do you care if the expectations are high or if their goals are high?
We should be. We all want to have. We all want to have a great season. We all want to be successful. So, I think that you would be in the wrong spot if we didn't want to have higher goals. Darius has done great. He's constantly improved since he's been here. It really benefited him a lot when we brought him in here last spring. As a junior college player who had 3 years, to play 3, and gets a spring before that 3rd year. I think that really helped him, get acclimated. And then last year, really was playing his best football as the season ended. Continued to carry it over to the winter program in the spring. Had a good summer this year. He's a leader. He's a leader out there in the secondary. Antonio has again continued to just improve. I think everybody knows we talked about Antonio in the spring. I thought he had a really good spring. And, he had a competitive, his first day yesterday. We had a real competitive day yesterday where he did a lot of good things. So I was excited about that.
I just want to ask one thing.
Go for it.